Welcome to East Meets West. And today I have a special guest. And yes, all my guests are special because they always add value to us. And today I have with me Pastor Reid. Pastor Reid have a very extensive bio, and I'm sure he's going to tell us a little bit more about himself. But a little bit is that over 25 years of progressive working experience in retail, education, agriculture, natural resources, manufacturing, insurance, motor industries. Now, do you see what I said? He has an extensive bio and a lot of experience in different areas. And I'm sure that today, as he share, treat me well while I am alive. He's also a pastor. He has over 92 books. I must say he has challenged me to go start writing my book. And I've met Pastor Reid recently, and he has already impressed on my heart, someone who is a servant leader. And leadership is our focus in how do we develop each other. And as you heard, John Maxwell said, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So as you listen today, as you learn something today, I do hope that you take it and apply it to your life. And whatever aspect of it that you can improve or share this also. And most importantly, do comment, do ask Pastor Reid, as I will refer to him, any question. His 92 books cover many different aspects, from business to life to faith, and so many more that you'll have a little glimpse as you go to his website, reidandlearn.com. You can, and that's REIDNLEARN.com. You will see all 92 books there, and you will have a very much, I would say, knowledge on different areas through Pastor Reid. But today especially, I'm going to ask him to even share a little bit more about himself. But today we're talking about one of his books on Treat Me Well While I Am Alive. And I thought of, out of the 92 books, this is something that really lacking, as we all would be experiencing people talking about others when they're already gone. But today, Pastor Reid is going to help us to understand more the importance of why to treat people well while they're here in front of you, and how you can actually do that. So I'm not going to speak anymore, but we will have a discussion on this topic. Pastor Reid, welcome to East Meets West, and thank you so much for your time in gracing us. I can imagine your schedule, but you have stopped, and this is why I know that your heart is one of serving, because you want to add value to people. And writing all those books definitely is about adding value to people. So is there anything else you would like to add to what I've just said about you?
Thank you very much, Dr. Prasad. Indeed, it's a pleasure. And thank you very much to all the viewers. Indeed, it's a pleasure. As you heard, I am Geary Reid, and I spell for persons who might have the challenge of the spelling. The Geary is Geary, and the Reid is Reid. The thing about it, I'm so happy to be here today to share with you many important things. And more in particular, we want to focus on this book, Treat Me Well While I'm Alive. But to give you a little history of Geary Reid, I've been married for more than 20 years to the same person. We have one son and one daughter. And this book also is important to me because I've attended many funeral services as a servant of God, and also attend funeral service with family members and friends. And I recognize that many persons are often excited to do things to see if they can make the dead feel appreciated. But I say to persons, don't do that when the person is dead. We have to do what is necessary when the person is alive. So we'll talk much more about that in the book. But to let persons know too, that I am a chartered accountant by profession with the ACCA. I'm also an MBA graduate, and the specific focus has been on strategic management. And I'm also being involved in Master Project Manager through the AAPM, and that is in America. So that's a little background of me. And I've been in the ministry in terms of serving the Lord since 1986. So I bring that collection in terms of writing this book and all other books. So as we go along, I'll share a little more insight about me and what drives me to write this book that will help every single individual. I would like to say that this book is not specific to any gender. It's not specific to any religion. It's not specific to any ethnic group. But this book here is for every single individual. And it is one of the books that I've authored that everyone needs to have. Treat me well while I'm alive. So that's a little background of me, and I'll tell you a little more during our next time.
Thank you, Pastor Reid, indeed. And as I said, Pastor Reid has a lot of experience in different areas from business, especially his film accounts and his MBA. So I do know that he can answer any question that you may be having on your mind. And when you do go through some of his books and you have any question, you could come back to this here and just post a question back to him, or go on his page, his Facebook page, and just ask him a question, or connect with him, which he will share later how you can do so. But let's get into talking about this topic here. And I find it very interesting because we want to know that all of our lives matter when we are on this earth. And yet we see in our society, we have families who don't actually speak to each other. We have neighbors who don't treat people well, or treat their neighbors well. And so many different relationships that are not, I would say, knitted in the way that it should be. But yet, when somebody is gone, you will see the crying. And I'm sharing this because, even last week, I had a coaching session with a client. And when I asked him what's on your mind, he kept reflecting that his aunt passed away last week, the week before the session. And he wasn't speaking to her because something she had done, and he just kept avoiding her. And he didn't talk to her. And then she passed away, and it was too late now to go make amends or do anything about it. So, Pastor Reid, tell us more
Yes.
about how
Yes.
this book here.
Correct. I like that example you shared. And that has been one of the things that I've recognized over the year. Some person live together, they work in the same environment, they're neighbors, and they have differences. And oftentimes they allow the differences to keep them apart. And when that very person to whom they believe hurt them, or they've hurt the person, when the person is gone, then they're saying, if I'd only known, I would have tried to see if I could have reconciled, because I didn't know this person would leave so much. I mean, then they think about it, but we could have forgiven because that matter was a very small matter. In this particular book, I encourage everyone, when someone is alive, we must do everything necessary to treat them good while they're alive, because they will go sometime. In this book, I say one thing, and there's one chapter: death is certain. No one is sure how long they will live on this earth. And because we know that we don't have eternity on this earth, we must do everything necessary to make others feel comfortable. For example, when a person having a birthday, we must take the time to call them and see how they're doing. But not only on their birthday, but we must also think about it once a week, once a month. Just pick up the phone and call them. If you're living close in the same community with the person, just visit them if it's appropriate and see how they're doing. Because we must check on each other to do whatever we can do. And we only have the opportunity to do it when the person is alive. For example, your workmate may be having some celebration. You can join in the celebration if you've been invited and do something to make them feel comfortable. Because we must understand this thing. Everyone needs love. Let me say it again. Everyone needs love. And we can only pour love on them or demonstrate love to them while they are alive, because there's nothing else we can do. I read something important for you that I want you to hear. This is what it says. People are sometimes sick and then die, not because of lack of food, but because the lack of love. So I want to share this with you. People die not because of the lack of food sometimes, but the lack of love. They feel distress. No one cared for them. No one loved them. No one will listen to them. And they begin to have this bitterness in their heart. And after a while, they become so sad that they're hurting themselves. They sometimes isolate themselves because no one is there to love them. And so in one of the chapters that I've written for this book, it says everyone needs love. And all of us, despite who you are, despite how much money you have, you need love. Despite how wealthy your family is, you need love. Despite the status of your job, you need love. Because love is like a medicine. It helps to heal the wounds. It helps people to feel comforted. And therefore, when people have love, they're able to express themselves, sharing with others and feeling much more relaxed. So love is essential and we must demonstrate it. Love is not something we can go and purchase online. It's not being sold online, but we must do that to persons who are available to us, those who are accessible to us. And everyone must do that when the person is alive, because we are not sure when they're going to depart from this earth. And so we must give them everything necessary while they're here, because after that time, nothing else can be done. I say this thing too. Love is a therapy. There are times people use medicine and medicine don't heal them. But sometimes the love that they receive from others make them feel comfortable. I share an example with you. There are times children are sick, and sometimes they may go to their mother, and the mother will hold them in the arm, and especially if they're very small, like toddler or so. The mother will give them the breast, and they probably may be feeding on the breast. Sometimes they're not really interested in the milk from the breast, but because the mother is there and probably feeding them and rubbing their head or rubbing their tummy, after a while, that child begins to feel much better and begin to sometimes start showing signs of joy. Why that happening? Because the child feels love from the parent. And so love is a therapy, and we must help people to feel that love in whatever we do. The other thing we must understand, love needs a relationship. If we're going to demonstrate love, we need to have a relationship with the person, because people need to know that they are cared for, and they need to know that someone is there to help them along to become much better. So we must demonstrate love to every single individual. Love requires giving. If we're going to be loving people, we must also give to them. So think about it. Some of the nice gifts and roses and wreath that you would like to give them on funeral day, why not take the same money and treat them well while they're alive? Carry something good that they will appreciate and let them know how much you love. Don't only tell them that you love them in words, but demonstrate it to them in action. So they can feel that you care about them. They will know that you want to be a part of them and to celebrate whatever they're doing. So demonstrate love and stop talking about it. Too many persons are talking about love, but they're not demonstrating love. And love is something that we must demonstrate. And I'm saying this thing, love can be demonstrated from persons within our family, from our friends, persons within our community, workmates. Let's demonstrate love to each person while they're there so they can feel that level of sense that someone cares about them. And the question is, how much love should we expect in return? Sadly, some persons are expecting people to always do well for them whenever they do certain things. But we must understand this thing. When we demonstrate love to other person, we are making them feel comfortable. Don't expect too many things in return. Just treat them nice, leave them to feel nice. And if they want to show love to you, then that is their portion. But you are doing the best you can to make them feel comfortable. We must also try to love everyone. Love everyone. Understand, not everyone will accept our love, but we must try to see if we can love everyone. When we do that, we're creating less harm in this environment. Too many times we have wars and all sorts of problems because people hate each other. So let us live in love with each other and to share love with them, because we need each other while we are here on this earth, because this is an important place we are on, which is earth, and we have an important assignment. And may I say this thing, we need each other in this entire process. Besides all of that, we must learn to forgive people, because if we don't forgive people, as you mentioned, Dr. Prasad, many persons feel unforgive. They feel that no one cares for them, and they begin to isolate themselves. Sometimes the reason people commit suicide is they feel that no one loves them, no one cares for them, and they feel they're all by themselves. But when we begin to show them love and forgive them, they will know that someone cares for them. So we have to do this. And may I say to you, let us do what we can for people while they're alive. When they're gone, there's nothing else we can do to make them happy. So those are my short views. I'll come back and share some more with you a little later.
Dr. Reid, Pastor Reid, sorry. It is indeed, your points that you're making, it's something that I think many people know, that yes, we need to treat people well. And I mean, if we don't know that one day is coming where we're no longer going to be here, then something is wrong with us not knowing that. And so I think for one, death is something that it's inevitable. You cannot run from that. And I really think that sometimes people forget that part, that one day is coming that they would no longer be here. And what would matter in the end? I was sharing this actually with someone the other day too, is that what would it matter gaining all the money, gaining all the riches or whatever in the world, and when I die, I would carry nothing. So why not make the time that I'm on the earth something more worthwhile in doing something for someone else? And as you were speaking, there were a few questions that came to my mind. You talk about love, and I am honestly telling you this here is that many people ask me that question, what really is love? And love is an action word, and love is this, love is that. But I would really love to hear your point on what is love, so that people understand, am I really expressing love here, or am I just doing something?
Let me answer that for you. Love cannot be purchased in any supermarket. Let me just qualify that for everyone. Love cannot be purchased in any supermarket. And so I want to say love is an expression of good feeling towards someone or something. I say someone or something, and I want to help clarify that, because we can express love to people. We can also express love to animals. We can also express love to the plants in the yard. We can express love also to our environment by caring for our environment. And so love always is an expression. It is not something you can store up. May I say to you, you cannot store up love today for tomorrow. It is something that must be released every single day or every moment. And so you have to do that. As I said, it's an expression. So you cannot expect either to keep your mouth closed or do not do anything and expect the other person to know that you love them. Love is more than just talking. Love is more than hugging a person. Love is more than giving money towards them. You have to understand what their needs are and see how you can meet their needs. And when you do that, you'll find yourself, you're providing some level of comfort for them, because they feel appreciated, knowing that someone cares for them, as they will say, someone loves them. And so it is an expression, but you have to know what is the need of the person. For example, you may want to give me a bottle of non-alcoholic wine. That may be good, but it may not be something that I need now. But what about if you give me, let's assume, a vehicle, or you give me something as a need, or grocery? Therefore, that may meet the need that I do have at that point in time. So you have to be sensitive to know what are the needs of the people and meet their needs. In a relationship between a husband and wife, there are times love can be expressed in so many different ways. So it is no specific way whether he hugs or kisses her that is love. He may have to sometimes listen to her. Sometimes she just wants to talk to him, and he just have to sit down and listen. That is showing love also too. So love is not always where you're talking, but also sometimes where you're giving attention or affection towards someone who needs it. So we must understand that you cannot buy love, but love is something that must be expressed. I hope I make an attempt to answer the question, Dr. Prasad.
So why I'm dwelling on the love, because for us, we know love covers a multitude of sin. And coming back to the topic we're talking about is treating people well. And when we say that we love somebody, when they mess up and they do something that hurts you or something out of the way, because it's up to you whether you're gonna take that on you and be hurt. We are humans, and yes, people will do things that might just shift you or trigger you. But in that moment there and that relationship there, how would you treat the person? And this is why I'm coming with a question of love, because if you love somebody, love, it's an expression, as Pastor Reid said. It's a feeling that you get, and guess what? Feelings can also change. And that's why
Yes.
I teach people, don't make decisions on emotions, because tomorrow morning your emotion will change and you might regret those decisions you made. So when you say you love somebody, you are loving them through all the good and all the bad. And that's the part I wanted to bring out here, is that you cannot say you love somebody, and when they do something that might not be pleasing to you, that I stop loving them. And therefore you stop treating them well. So
Yes.
those are some thoughts. What are you thinking?
Well, good. Beautiful. In this very book, the second chapter, I think, and the third chapter, I spoke about we have to forgive others. People will hurt us. Let me say something. And we will also hurt people. But what we must do is not to keep the hurt inside of us, but we must find ways of reconciling. And for those who study conflict management, I have a book by the name of Conflict Management Through Biblical Principle. Let me share the name of the book again. Conflict Management Through Biblical Principle. I also have another book that named Everyone Needs Forgiveness. Everyone Needs Forgiveness. But let me summarize those two books. The thing about it, we have to now learn that we must forgive people, because there's no human being that is perfect. And because they are not perfect, we must take the opportunity to see ourselves through their eyes. We must see that what they did, it could be the very thing we would have done. And therefore, how do we want people to treat us when we did something like that? So if you want people to treat you good, you have to treat people good. And I think I say that in the book. If you want people to love you, then you have to love them. If you want people to forgive you, you have to forgive them. And so what you are expecting in life, you have to reciprocate the same thing so that people will treat you that same way. So when it comes to forgiveness, let's understand, no one is perfect. Everyone will make mistakes. But we must have in our heart, we must desire in our heart that we must learn to forgive people. Because when we do that, we are freeing them from any hurt that they have, and they in return can come and demonstrate to us how much they appreciate us forgiving them. I've seen this many times. When people are at the burial ground or some religious service for the dead, they often cry and they make all sorts of statements. And that's why they know they've had hurt with the other person and they did not reconcile those issues and they wish that the opportunity was still available. I'm saying in this book, learn to forgive people, get rid of the hurt, get rid of any baggages, feel free. When you hurt people, sometimes you don't recognize it. You are hurting yourself because the very person you don't want to talk to, you're trying to find all alternative not to meet them. And do you know what you're doing? You're taking longer routes to get to a same destination. Don't do that. You try not to talk with a person, you only hurt yourself. Learn to forgive and understand you're not perfect, but forgiveness is essential for every single individual.
Yep. And why I'm dwelling on this part here, because that's exactly why we don't treat people well. Because we keep holding on to the hurt. And, they said that forgiveness is not for you, for the person that you say, I forgive. Okay, Pastor Reid did something, so I say, I forgive Pastor Reid. But the forgiveness wasn't really for Pastor Reid, it's for me. Because the healing is really from me. Because I am the one who ended up being bitter. I am the one who is mentally affected by this, what's going on inside of me. And this is the part that many of us are not understanding. That when you forgive, it's really for you. And I am saying all of this because these are the things that keep preventing us from treating people well. I was in a training a few weeks back, and during the lunch break, one of the person, a very older person, can actually be my grandfather, came up to me and he said, in our organization here, people don't listen to each other. They don't respect one another's opinion. They just shut down and you can talk all you want. They just don't care. And I asked him that, how do you treat people when they come and speak to you? Right. And it was just a real eye-opening conversation that we were having. And I said to him, something that I have learned in life is that when someone is standing in front of me, I would see them as an image of God. And if it is God who is standing in front of me, how would I treat them? How would I treat him? Right? What would I say? Would I be attentive? Would I be respective in my tone of voice? What would I be thinking whilst I'm speaking? And when that person is speaking back to me, would I be offended with what they're saying, or would I open my mind to learn from them and value whatever they're saying? And so this whole conversation here, it was just amazing. What he said is that I've never thought about it in that way. And it's, we go through life getting all worked up and angry about something or the other in our organizations, with our team that we're working with, maybe even driving on the road, that the way we treat one another, it's so amazing. And that we don't think that, how can I use this as, this is an image bearer, how would I treat God if it was him standing in front of me? And for me, it gives me a whole different view of, when I talk about conflict management, how I reduce the conflict that's going on in me. Whereas before, you can pass it on to someone else. But it's just a thought that how these things are preventing us from treating people well. Right? I was up in Essequibo this weekend gone, and I barely got a parking to get into this supermarket to pick up a few things. And a car came and parked behind me. And where I came in, it was a really tight squeeze because it has a really big truck on the road and the next vehicle. And I came here, and he came and blocked the whole entrance of where I would have come through to park. So I can't get out either way now. Asking him to move, and he was so offended by the person who went and asked him, and he pretty much wanted to fight that person. And I'm thinking, yes, I don't know you, you don't know me. we don't, many people, I'm meeting you only recently, and how can I value you as an individual? How can we see each other despite we don't have no relationship? I don't know you. You're not my family. You're not a friend or anyone that but I can see you as an individual of value. And
Yes.
therefore, I value you as a human being, as a child of God, as
Correct.
somebody created by God that is put here to do good works. And I can see that in you, though you might have behaviors that I totally don't like, but I value you as a human being. And I come back to this point of your title of your book, because even in our country, in our world, you are seeing people who look at each other with scorn.
Yes.
And I can't understand, how am I treating you well? Do I have to know you to treat you well? Do you have to give
No.
me something to so I can treat you well? How can we as individuals just look at someone, don't know anything about them, their background, whatever they've done with their lives, and still treat them well? And that is the level I would say I would like to see our people get to, that I can see you and just see you for you. That I can say today, I see you. I value you. You're
Yes.
special. And
Hmm.
I want to make you feel that way, not when you're gone, but now that
Correct.
you're in front of me, because today I see you and I don't know if I'll ever see you again.
Correct.
I'm speaking to many audience and I don't know any of them. Last Sunday, I spoke in a church over 40 people that I don't know at all. And might never see them again. And so I'm saying that, how can we just simple one individual? How do we treat them in every aspect? You go to a restaurant, you go to the supermarket, you go wherever, you're driving on the road or driving next to you. How can we treat each other with respect without even knowing that person? How can we just value them in a way that now that they're here, because they themselves might disappear, you might disappear tomorrow, who knows? As you said at the beginning, we don't know the day nor the hour, the time when we will be removed from this earth. Why not make it matter now? And so, Pastor Reed, I'm going to give you a chance to just weigh in on that before we close off.
Great. Thank you very much. You are absolutely right. And I like the examples to which you just shared. The thing about it, we don't have to know people to treat them well. Meaning, you don't have to be in contact with a person for the last 5 or 10 years. We must see each individual as a valuable resource on this earth. Every single individual has his or her own purpose. And when we begin to respect each individual, we will begin to treat them with love. We'll be able to treat them well while they're alive. What happens many times in life is that we believe that sometimes some persons are superior to others and some are inferior. Because you have more wealth, you're better than another person. Because you have more academics, you're better than another person. Because you're living in a residential community, you're better than another person. When we begin to see each individual as being equal, then life becomes easy. I say to people, and I think I say it in this book, when we go in the grave, which is 6 feet down, or for some person via cremation, whatever it is, there is no status when you die. You could be the wealthiest person when you die. There is no status. If we have to place you 6 feet in the ground, you'll be treated like anyone else. Therefore, the question is, why do we behave in an unmannerly way when we're alive, thinking that we are superior to others? No. Whenever a person is sick, let's assume if you're having headache, a wealthy person having a headache and a poor person having a headache, it's the same thing they're going through. What may happen is that a wealthy person may have access to medical treatment that can ease some of the headache in a shorter time. But we all suffer these days. If a woman is pregnant, whether she is rich or poor, she has to go through the same process of delivering a child. So we must see each other as being equal. What happens is that sometimes greed gets to the mind of some people. They do believe because they have certain possession that they're better than others. And some persons believe that when they pull down others, it gives them opportunity for them to look nice because they are being elevated. It's something that we must not do. We must begin to treat each other as equal. We must treat each other as well. We understand this thing. When people are gone, there's nothing we can do about them. You may look at some person as being insignificant, but the small things that they can do can make a positive impact in your life and in the life of other person. I want to share with people. In one of the chapters in my book, I say, leave good memories. Leave good memories. While you are here on the earth, do the best you can. Remember, you will not be able to please everyone, but do the best that you can. When you depart, people must have good memories of you. They must remember the good thing. There are some persons who will say to those who've done bad things, I'm glad that that person died because they were creating so much harm. But I'm saying to you, leave good memories. Therefore, you have to do certain things that will allow you to impact the life of others. And I also say to people too, before you die, leave an inheritance for your family. The inheritance doesn't have to be wealth. It can be wisdom. It can be a good relationship. It can be a good name. Leave a good inheritance before you die. Remember, as I said in one of the chapters in this book, you are not sure when you will die, but death is certain. Death is certain. We will die. We will die. And so you have to do whatever is necessary to make others feel good. Remember too, that there's no spending in the grave. That is, don't try to give people money and colognes when they're about to die or when they die. They cannot use that. So give it to them while they're alive and let them feel your love and know you care for them. Those are my thoughts, Dr. Prasad. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you have, Pastor Reid, and indeed, do what you can do. You know, when somebody is alive, not only as Pastor Reid talk about it has to be financial, but maybe your time. And sometimes I get scolded from my dad every week. He say, "I need to hear your voice every week." We're in different countries, and even my mom. And sometimes I do feel bad if I missed the week and I did not make the call. And so I intentionally now, okay, every week I will do this. I will speak to this person. And sometimes I just a message. Sometimes some people I haven't heard from them in a while. Just send a WhatsApp. How are you doing? And just checking in. Everything good? And or sometimes for me too, it's intentionally okay. Every month, at least twice a month, is to hook up with somebody and have lunch with them, just to connect and just let them also know that I'm there. But I
Yes.
don't know for you, you know, those who are listening, is that look at your life and all the relationships that you have. Not, I'm not speaking about family only here, but your neighbors. How do you connect? The other day, I made lunch for one of our neighbor and sent it over, and he said, "It's whose birthday?" I was like, "There's nobody's birthday. I wanted to do something for you." And but it's just how we choose to live our life right now that we can treat people well. And I really love that. And so I would leave this part with all of us that at the end of the day, maybe when you're in your bed about to go to bed or so, is that ask yourself this question: did I treat everyone well today? All the interactions, whether it is an indirect kind of interaction on the road or wherever, that did I treat everyone well? Did I do my all or my best in treating them well? And it's just a simple self evaluation or reflection of the day. did I treat anyone well? And if you found that you did not treat somebody well, how do you go correct it? And tomorrow, how do you be better at whatever went down today? And that's how you keep improving. It's just a thought of intentionality of wanting to be better, to do better. So, how do you treat people right now that maybe some you need improving in? Just think about those people, maybe make a note and intentionally connect with them and mend those relationships before it's too late. I will tell you honestly, it's Pastor Reid and myself, I can tell you that saw a lot of regrets happening after someone is gone. And you don't want to live with regrets. Correct it now that you're alive, the person is alive, correct it now. So, as I said, Pastor Reid would have written over 92 books, and this is his website that you can actually go through it. It's reidnlearn.com. And you will see all these books that he has written on different categories or topics that is really going to help you. This is the one he was referring to, conflict management through biblical principles. And you can shop all his books on Amazon. You also can have a little view or read about his life and get to know him better. So you can contact him. I would encourage you to get some of his books and read it. And as you get questions, do connect with him and he will answer your questions because he's here to serve you. And likewise, I'm here to serve you too. And if you have any questions, please post it in the comments. Anyone that you think need to hear this, what we have talked about here today, do share it with them. Pastor Reid, is there anything you would like to close with and also maybe share how someone can contact you?
Yes, very good. Thank you once again, Dr. Prasad. Indeed, it's a pleasure talking with so many persons all around the world. In terms of how people can contact me, I'm accessible through Facebook, and the spelling is Gearyreid. So you can go there and you can also send me a message through Messenger. The website, once again, it's www.reidnlearn.com. You can also go to the Amazon page. It is amazon.com/Geary Reid, and the Geary Reid is spelled Gearyreid. What you can do as a shared person, you have books in ebooks format and paperback format, and those prices are all there for you. Read the books. There are books there to help you. Those books contain a lot of practical information and also technical information, and you'll be able to benefit from those books. So I want to say thank you very much, everyone, for listening to us. I must say, I enjoyed this conversation. It was a very fluid conversation, and there's so much, for us to talk sometime in the near future. But it has been a blessing talking to every one of you, wherever you are today.
Pastor Reid, thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. And indeed, we will engage you back on some other of your books because it's 92 books. I'm sure you have a lot that you can share with us and help us to get better as leaders in our homes, in our communities, in our countries, that how can we as leaders be better? And because I believe everybody deserves to be led well. And so
you are correct. And just to share with them, recently I've received a Global Author Award for the year 2022 because of the number of books that I've written. So indeed, you recognize that people internationally are recognizing my contribution in terms of authorship. And just to let people know that the last 88 books out of the 92 were written within 5 years' time. That is 60 months, and that is almost 1.5 books per month. That is all I will say. Go through those books. Those books have international purpose for every single area of your life. You have a book for you. So make a choice today. Thank you very much, Dr. Prasad.
Thank you again, Pastor Reid. And everyone have a wonderful day. And do share this video. As I said, comment, ask your questions. We're here to serve you and to add value to you. Treat people well today.